Yo, what's up? It's CartoonCat35.exe back with another video. Remember how I made a power scaling video for Cartoon Cat? But yes, as the title and thumbnail says, I'm not just gonna power scale Cartoon Cat like I did days or even weeks ago. Yes, as you see in both the title and the thumbnail, it's Trevor Henderson generations. In this video explaining why Trevor Henderson generations are Outerversal. Yes, Siren Head, Longhorse, the Man of Upside Down Face, Void Nugget, Fetid King, Holeman, and the Lamb. Yes, I'm a proof that how all of these characters are Outerversal. Okay, starting off with the low balls and starting off with Siren Head, without the statement of clashing with Longhorse or withstanding our attacks from Longhorse and Cartoon Cat, Siren Head with his sheer size without context would be town level. Now moving on to Longhorse. His size is stated to be infinite, so yes, we're at the low ball sides of this convo, so we must not give context. So this feat, without any context, would scale Longhorse to at least high universal to low multiversal. Now for the next scan, it said that Longhorse is above the 12 dimensions entirely. And yes, considering the fact we're still at the low balls, we must not give context like earlier. So yes, this scan would at least bring Longhorse to the hyperversal ranges in terms of power. I said earlier, if we use the statement that Sarhead's comparable to Longhorse, then Sarhead will also get those multiversal to hyperversal scans. Now, moving on to the Man with the Upside Down Face. For the global part, he is at least mountain level via causing natural disasters and accidents, which would possibly include the worst earthquake in history. So, with this scan that doesn't have context, the Man with Upside Down Face would at least scale the mountain level. Now, moving on to Holman and Void Nugget. As you've seen in the pictures or on whatever it's called, the whole thing is about black holes. And as we said earlier, this is on the low balls. So yes, we don't need to bring context for this one. So without context, we just scale them to solar system. I mean, at least solar system in terms of power. But please, I promise, we'll get to the higher balls soon. And now for the last two. But first, moving on to Feld King. I don't have much to say. Yeah, I don't know what to say for this dude. And moving on to the lamp. Yep, it's lowball to multiversal. Yes, for sure. The hexes and the abilities there, it's lowball to multiversal. So yeah, the lamp lowball is multiversal. And if it could tank hits from other characters like Siren Head and Longhorse, who are lowball to multiversal, hyperversal, then the lamp could be a bit highballed to hyperversal. There is one character that isn't mentioned but in this list, but I'll put them anyways. The 12-dimensional body hive. As its name suggests, it's hyperversal, but please note that I'm still at the lowballing part, so yeah. 12-dimensional body hive being hyperversal is just a lowball. Remember what I said earlier? It turns out that they were downplaying Trevor Henderson generations, especially for Sargent and Longhorse. Remember what I said about the infinite size feat? Well, as I said earlier in my previous videos, there are plenty of stuff bigger than the universe. So yes, the infinite size feat may not just put it in universal or multiversal ranges of power, but also outerversal ranges of power. And if Siren Head would skid a Longhorse, Siren Head would also be outerversal. And if both of them would scale the Cartoon Cat, both of them would be outerversal. So an anything that lacks space, time, and dimensions conceptually would be outerversal. Premise 2. If Longhorse's unlimited size case would be similar to Cartoon Cat's unlimited size case, Longhorse would also have to be outerversal. Premise 3. Longhorse is stated to tear down the concepts of space-time, Premise 4. If Longhorse could harm or take hits from Cartoon Cat, who's at least outerversal, Long Horse would also have to be that tier 2. In conclusion, Long Horse is Outerversal. As we've all been seeing, all the premises fall into the conclusion, but we need to justify premises, especially premise 3. Yes, as you've seen in this screenshot, it says that Longhorse breaks all laws of space and time, so further granting him to outerversal ranges of power. This would also upscale Sarenhead, granting him to also outerversal. And also moving on to the high balls of the man with the upside down face. Yes, he's outerversal level. The damage pain he causes is comparable to that of Cartoon Cat, who is high outerversal or at least outerversal, scaling the man with upside down face to outerversal. On to the fetid king, or the lanky skeleton as we know. For the first scan, it said that the fetid king is everywhere and its age is infinite. For the everywhere scan, I think they meant the fetid king is omnipresent, just like the man with the upside down face. Scaling fed, I mean, or if Fetid King is comparable to the other characters I mentioned earlier, this would scale Fetid King to Outerversal. And moving on to the lamp, I'm pretty sure that one of the abilities here, Void Manipulation, is mentioned here. And yes, I made a whole video explaining how Void Manipulation is an Outerversal feat, scaling the lamp to Outerversal, since it could tank hits or harm outerversal beings, I mean other outerversal beings like Sirenhead and Longhorse. And now moving on to the black hole dudes. Okay, starting off with Void Nugget, as his name suggests, yes, the Void, of course, the Void lacks the concept of space-time, and the name suggests scaling Void Nugget to outerversal. And there is another thing I would like to mention though. Void Nugget is one of the little nugget little nugget involved since the other being a lamp, and if the void nugget is comparable to the lamp, as which I mentioned earlier, this would also bring void nugget to the outerversal tiers, and if not outerversal, then it's at least multiversal. And now, moving on to Hole Man. Please note that the black hole feat isn't the best feat, and it is in fact the worst. Okay, now looking at the scans I sent, well, unfortunately, Holman doesn't has much scans as the other characters. And yes, these are all I could find. Embodiment, space-time manipulation. Okay, if anything, if not outerversal, then this will just put Holman at least to the multiversal or 4D ranges of power. And now, moving on to 12-dimensional body hive. The highballed versions of him would scale the friend from Void Planes, and here are some of the scans for the friend from Void Planes. But before I go to the highball versions of 12-dimensional body hype, I would like to go for the downplays of friend from Void Planes. So the scan that friend from Void Planes would scale to the 12-dimensional body hype without context would just at least put him to the hyperversal ranges of power. But now for the 12-dimensional body hype. Yes, I might want to to give the boundless or at least extra versal scan to a friend from Void Planes, but I don't want to leak my next ideas for my next video, so I'm gonna go ahead and yeah, get some info but not all of them. And for this dude over here, if friend from Void Planes really did rule and create the void, and if 12-dimensional body hype is comparable to that, that won't just put the 12-dimensional body hype above beings like Sirenhead, Longhorse, and the man with upside down face, but also Cartoon Cat. Overall, scaling the 12-dimensional body hype to the extraversal ranges of power. If Longhorse really does scale the 12-dimensional body hype, then this might also put him to the extraversal ranges of power. If he does also scale the Cartoon Cat too, not just the 12-dimensional body hype, otherwise he's at least outer. Now, moving on to Big Charlie, his physical appearance scales to water building level. And yes, considering the fact that he created little nuggets which evolved to the lamp and the void nugget, And considering the fact that he could harm beings like Longhorse, Siren Head, and Cartoon Cat, this also brings Big Charlie to the Outerversal ranges of power. And here's a scan that just leads the Patron Saints to Outerversal. Now, moving on to the speed tier. Please note this is important because so that you could dodge the opponent's attack so that you could like hit the opponent before they could react. Here's the overall speed tiers for the Patron Saints of Trevor Henderson. For the low balls where I said they were multiversal to hyperversal is immeasurable speed, but for the part that they're outer, they have irrelevant speed. You didn't have to cut me off. Overall, here are the stats of what a character would grant if they either came from the Void or if they're a patron scene from the Trevor Henderson mythos. You would get Outerversal attack potency, durability, power, yada yada yada. You will also get relevant speed, notable abilities, hacks, regeneration, adaptability, fire plus electricity resistance, timelessness, not bound by physics, etc. No notable achievements. You're soloing 90/99% of fiction. In other words, you're also snapping your hands on some Daniel shit and erasing the concept of the Sprunky-verse, Baldi's Basics verse, Developer verse, Voisinkin verse, and the Five verse, Italian Brainrot verse, Jurassic World verse, yada yada yada.